ladies and gentlemen, I'm John Gray, and I'm just plain living here.
Are you really? I'm Peggy
Yeah.
Burton. Good morning.
And I'm Jim Fuller.
Are you tired?
You know, I could say that. I'm either tired or just totally worn out. I'm not sure which.
The reason is we're in show week of 1776, and Peggy's directing the orchestra
And
at
I have
South
some
Jackson
great
Civic Center.
people in the orchestra, by the way.
And we've been working hard every day.
Often
on
the
that.
orchestra, the unsung heroes.
Yes,
you know
yes
what I
they
mean?
are. Yes, they are.
But I love working with musicians, and I have some fine ones.
And speaking of that, I want to give a personal thanks to Major General Alan Harris,
Oh, my
who
gosh.
was responsible for bringing the Tennessee National Guard Orchestra here yesterday for a Memorial Day celebration at South Jackson Civic Center at noon yesterday. Very well attended, and that orchestra is absolutely incredible.
It was wonderful to have that event at South Jackson.
You know, and I think the last time they were here, it was they were over at City Park,
Fraser McEwen.
Right.
Park,
Fraser
yeah.
I
McEwen
was there,
during one of the fireworks shows
Right.
or something like that. But they were on stage, and a friend of mine who I was acquainted with years ago when I was roaming around Nashville a little bit more than I do now, MC Potts,
Yeah.
is a sergeant, and I've got one of her cassettes. She worked with Split Publishing Company, which I worked with some at that time, and I have one of her cassettes that I play from time to time, and I said, "Do you remember this cassette?" And she said, "Well, I remember you." And she sings.
With-
She's in the orchestra and sings, and they did not only patriotic stuff, but she did a Patsy Cline set, and did Walking After Midnight and all of those, about 4 or 5 of those great Patsy Cline songs. And then they had some other people, because they're based right out of Nashville,
Right.
and they did a medley of stuff that country music stars had done. Toby Keith, the American Soldier, and Lee Greenwood, the Lee Greenwood
God Bless
song,
the USA.
and some other songs that were not, march pieces, but they were patriotic pieces.
Sure.
And it was just a wonderful show. It was about an hour and 15, 20 minutes long, and it was just fantastic.
It's quite an accomplishment to get them to Tullahoma on Memorial Day, wasn't it?
Well,
Right,
but
right.
that's what those kind of people do.
Well, I'll just give a shout out to my grandson, he was up at 5:30 so he could march in a parade in Virginia. And so a lot of people are out doing,
Yes.
and motorcyclists and a lot of stuff like that. I appreciate that. You can always grill just a little bit later.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
You're not going to starve. We should first offer thanks and a tribute to our fallen troops.
I woke up in a panic thinking I needed to be at the fire hall because of their ceremony. However, that's Patriots Day. That's not Memorial Day.
Yeah.
I realized that when I got there.
And that's an early ceremony, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's 8 o'clock in the morning. But anyway.
So I realized that I hadn't done one of these. So yesterday's
You wrote
Loku, number 91, standing between us and danger. They make the wall that defends our freedom, sacrificing life and limb for our safety. Patriots all who answer the call. God bless our veterans.
That's nice.
So that's for
really
you guys
nice.
out there. And we had a Gold Star mother there
Did you?
yesterday, and for those of you who don't understand that, a Gold Star mother is a mother who lost their son or daughter to death in combat, defending our nation,
And that's
and they're to be revered.
Right.
a lot of people forget what families go through,
Yes.
and they go through a lot of heartache, a lot of turmoil, a lot of sadness, loneliness, all kind of things.
And that movie, I guess the greatest depiction of that is the movie that Tom Hanks did, Private Ryan,
Yeah.
where there were 4 sons and 3 of them got killed.
That was a true story.
True
wasn't it?
story,
It was a
yeah,
true
true
story.
story. And
Definitely
they
a true
sent
story.
a group out to find this 4th son
Yeah.
and see that he got home safe, because they just did not want a woman to lose all of her children
Right.
in one war. So you know, like you say, the service that's given to us through our veterans and our military goes further than just that. It goes through the families and
the same with the police force.
Sure, firemen and all our first responders.
That's right.
So.
And we need to always.
But it was a great day, and we're going to have some video, a couple of clips of video from that we're going to use on today's show.
Great.
So it was just wonderful, absolutely
we're
wonderful.
And I think it's so neat that we could take the set off of the stage of 1776 and put that orchestra up there.
Yeah, it was really cool because we already have our set for 1776 has risers in there where the tables are set where the congressmen are. So we just pull the tables off and they set their chairs up, and it was just perfect for that. So it's very good.
Yeah, I invite everybody to come see 1776. It's a
Sure.
wonderful musical.
That starts this weekend, doesn't it?
It
Starts Thursday.
Thursday night.
yeah.
It's opening night.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday is the gala, and that is the show. Starts normally at 7. That night the show is going to start at
8.
or at 7:30.
They told me 7.
7. That's what I thought. And then that night the gala will be from
6 till
6
8.
until 8. And Old Shed is providing all of the ales and things like that we have. That, you know, because most of those guys back in there weren't distilleries around.
No.
They homebrewed everything.
homebrewed
all
everything
their
they had.
stuff.
Yeah.
And so Old Shed, our local brewery here, has created some period type stuff that would have been available.
Which is a really nice thing for
It's a
them to
really
do,
great
yeah.
thing. It's a really great thing for them to do.
In case people don't know what happens at the gala, I don't have it all down because I'm not doing that part particularly, but there's lots of food, lots
Yes.
of good food, wonderful food, and I think it's being catered by
Manchester Conference Center.
Conference Center, and there's auction, an auction for, raising funds,
Right.
obviously. Some good, I don't know what all is up for auction, but I hear there's some good things.
Yeah.
And I think contra dancers and...
Yeah, it's going to be a party.
There's a lot of things.
A lot of
Sound
things
like
going
fun.
on.
Yeah.
And it is, this is a effort by South Jackson Civic Center to use this as a fundraiser, because like all 501c3s, you can never find enough money, and there's so many wonderful things that happen there. We as a community are responsible for helping to keep the doors open on that
Right.
place.
So go buy a ticket.
Yeah.
Would
and
be nice.
and be educated about, Jimmy, I don't understand how it even happened. After being involved in this play and seeing
How they ever got it done.
how they ever got it done.
Yeah, it was-
John Adams was the most tenacious little fella, and they numerous times during the play they say he's disliked and
But he stuck by his guns.
He stuck there.
He was a patriot to the to the core.
That's kind of the way government works too. And
Yeah.
when you look back on it, do you think, how in the world does this
How did that happen?
even function?
And Rex Brown is Benjamin Franklin, and there is no one in this world, even on Broadway, that could be Benjamin Franklin better than Rex Brown
He does a
is
good
as
job.
Benjamin Franklin. He is absolutely hilarious.
Samantha Waters, who's playing John Adams' wife.
Right.
She's phenomenal.
Abigail.
And the Petersons are in it as
Jefferson,
Jefferson
Thomas, and Martha.
Mrs. Jefferson, and there's just a lot of great people
Yeah.
on that stage.
So,
And you're
come.
on that. Who are you in the?
I'm
I forget your
I'm
name.
Joseph Hughes from North
Hughes
Carolina,
From North Carolina.
who defers to South Carolina, which is not really much fun for me because I don't like deferring much to nobody.
And the one thing,
Well, that's the truth.
everybody, of course, needs to remember this is community theater, and we have some real young
Oh.
actors. And I just wanted to say a word about Wesley, who plays the courier,
Courier, yes.
and when Wesley Smith, when he sings,
Mama.
"Mama Gets Smart" or "Mama Looks Smart,"
Look sharp.
sharp, well, whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, that does make a difference. Look sharp. In other words, look for him. Last night he made me cry. I mean,
Oh,
it's
this young man has an
absolutely
absolutely
stunning.
beautiful
Yeah.
voice.
Really, really.
And we
great.
have young voices from Manchester and from Tullahoma, out of both singing groups, and some really good older voices, and it's just some of the songs are so powerful they just knock the back of the building out.
There's some powerful music in this.
And so we just hope everyone will come and enjoy that and be educated about how this country was really founded and what it took to make it happen. And one of the things that's so funny is McNair is the custodian, and he's the one who goes and gets the rum and stuff. And the dispatches that are sent in by Washington, General Washington, and it's horrible. What's going on? You know, he's got 5,000 troops, and there's 25,000 coming in from England,
right?
The best trained military in the world, and he's got a bunch of old men and teenagers
that picked up their rifle and out there to defend their beliefs.
You know, it's just amazing that it ever happened.
And it still is, John.
And it still is. Yeah. I mean, we. And one of the things that I didn't realize is I didn't realize even back in those days how much politics played a place in what happened back then. And of course, back in that point, politicians, that wasn't a career.
Right.
But it was still, there was a lot of politicking going on. And sides chosen and taken, and it's just very educational and interesting.
It's funny you should say that. As you know, I spent some time lobbying for the bingo issue, and I know when I first got there, I had all these idealistic principles, and I thought this is easily fixed. I learned quickly that that's not what happens. That's not how government works here in the state of Tennessee or anywhere. And there was another side to that, which was what I would call the professional bingo operators who weren't really representing a charity.
Right.
And so we were big time adversaries against each other because we were representing legions and that sort of organizations.
Right. Nonprofits.
However, things changed so much during that that legislative session, and I'd like to think that we had a lot to do with that. But at the end, we were big-time adversaries, me and the professional guys. However, at the end of that thing, things went a wire here somewhere, and it appeared that we're going to lose nobody's going to be able to play bingo. Well, that was against what even the professionals or us. We didn't want that to happen. So at the end of the session, here's me and the guy representing the professional guys. We're on the same team.
Sure.
We're trying to
make it work.
We're trying to save this whole deal, and thinking we'll just come back next year and fight this again, but we got to save it right now, or our people will be out of business. So,
and that happens. Yeah. That's what happens in this play.
Right, because you have to think that two distinctly different mindsets, and they all believe they're right.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It was tough.
So
anyway, I'm proud of the production.
Yeah, everybody needs to come.
There were times when I thought,
you can still get tickets. I think.
Oh, you can still get tickets. The ticket lady's going to be up here in just a minute. My lovely bride, Fran, she has a gentleman with her who's going to be on the show today who makes wooden flags.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And that's part of this whole deal of this week and Memorial Day and 1776, and we're just going to push it all the way till the end.
All right.
Win, lose, or draw. Okay?
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Well, what we'll do right now, folks, is take a quick break, and we'll be back with the rest of today's show.
The Russell Barnett Automotive family has launched its new Owner Advantage program. It starts as simple as your first year's maintenance is included with the purchase. We have 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plans available. Car detailing, car rental, collision repair. Stop by one of our 5 locations and let one of our certified sales staff tell you all about it. The Russell Barnett Automotive Family Advantage program. And remember, my question is, why buy anywhere else?
All I have to do to think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do,
Everyday Miracles, Life Care Center of Tullahoma. Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I told you about the Tennessee National Guard Band being in town yesterday for Memorial Day celebration. We're going to bring you just a snippet of that right now with Alan Harris introducing them.
Introduce this magnificent band. All right. 129th Army Band out of Nashville, Tennessee Army National Guard. They're the finest band that I know of. And you're about to find out why. I have to ask, are there any Gold Star mothers here? I see one Gold Star mother. For those young folks that are unfamiliar with the Blue Star banner and the Gold Star banner, Gold Star Mother is a mom that lost her son or daughter in times of military conflict, where they lost son and daughter died in military conflict. So this is for you, Elaine. And I'll shut up before we get too emotional, but I hope you enjoy your day. Thanks for taking the time to come out and appreciate Memorial Day for what it is. Okay?
Partners for Healing provides medical care to the working uninsured of Coffee, Franklin, and Moore counties. We are in Tullahoma from 8 to 5, Monday through Thursdays, and in Manchester on Fridays from 8 to 12. We provide primary medical care and offer an in-house disease management program.
My name is Rosie Mitchell, and I would just like to say I am blessed to have partners in my life.
Please call 455-5014 for more information. Thank you for being one of our Partners for Healing.
Hello, this is Janie Price. When my husband Ray Price would tour across the country, his favorite place to dine was Cracker Barrel Old Country Store locations. His favorite thing to order was the Uncle Herschel.
And the beauty of it all is forever, you'll be holding me to.
I miss Ray dearly, and I'm so proud that his last album, Beauty Is, The Final Sessions, is available at his favorite restaurant.
A love affair to remember.
The project includes a duet with Martina McBride and harmony vocals from Vince Gill. Ray believed this to be the best recording he had ever made.
Oh, I wish I was 18 again.
I think you'll agree when you pick up your copy of Beauty Is, The Final Sessions at a Cracker Barrel Old Country Store location near you or at crackerbarrel.com.
A world without breast cancer is a world with more birthdays. And signing up for the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk will help us get there faster. The American Cancer Society invests in groundbreaking breast cancer research, and we're part of every community. In fact, 1 in 2 women newly diagnosed with breast cancer turns to us for support. Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org. Together, we can finish the fight against breast cancer.
Hello, everyone. I'm Fran Gray, and it's my privilege this morning to be with a young entrepreneur, Mr. Jason Robison. Jason, we're so glad to have you on Living.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming this morning. Tell us about Yellow Dog Flag Company.
It's a company that we started back in March, and it just kind of happened out of circumstance. You know, I like the looks of the handmade wooden flags, and kind of scouring the internet, wanted to buy one, realized that they didn't have what I wanted, the price point that I wanted, so I just started making them. So the first one we made was for Templar Shooting Sports.
Mm-hmm.
It's an 8-foot by 4-foot, and ever since then people have just been kind of rolling in, getting orders in and everything, so it's really taken off.
Well, that's really amazing. Tell me, how did you get involved in woodcrafting yourself?
I've always been creative, always been artistic, really enjoyed working with my hands. There's just something, natural about working with your hands and, actually building something, doing something, creating something.
So I've heard. I'm afraid that's not one of my gifts, but I do appreciate and respect people who do have that gift, that talent. So why flags?
It's, a service to the community, I think, to kind of make an awareness of what our country is, because we're kind of losing touch with where we were. We do this to teach, to educate, especially children.
Mm-hmm.
We have a wonderful event coming up in June for Flag Day, so we'll talk more about that a little bit later. But it was just, it's a good representation of pride, I guess, for our country.
Yes, well, it certainly is. The reason I have asked Jason to be with us today is because he has been kind and generous enough with us to offer a flag for the silent auction at our 1776 Gala, which is coming up on Saturday night. Among many other wonderful silent auction items, we have a flag donated by Jason for the silent auction.
That's correct.
And is this one like
it'll be like this, except it'll be the 13 stars, the colonial stars, in a circle. But it'll be very close to this. It'll be this size, and it'll be a little bit probably a matte finish instead of a gloss finish.
Okay, so it has a very old look.
Correct. Correct.
Now, tell me about this wood. What kind of woods do you use?
This is pine. We use pine, oak, spruce, mahogany if the customer wants that. But most of them are made with pine. This measures about 40 by 20. It's all hand burned, glued, stained or dyed. So it's very, very no CNC machine. It's all hand carved and cut.
Wow. Now, is this something that can be displayed out of doors, or should it have shelter? What's the best way
They can be displayed out of doors. We just need to know beforehand, because there's a certain type of glue and a certain type of finish that we want to put on it, so it does protect it from fading and the weather.
So you are making custom orders, is that right?
We are. That is correct. We are building up our inventory, but it's been so busy with just the custom orders that our inventory is flying out the doors. But we are planning on building up some inventory, so we do have some on hand to sell.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, now tell me, you have a full-time job in addition to this?
I do. I work 50 to 60 hours a week as a retail manager. So this is kind of an outlet at home. It is very fun. It's relaxing. Get my kids and my wife involved in it, so it's very fun for them.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you can teach them safety in the shop and
correct.
Give them lessons on patriotism, displaying the flag?
Yes, that is correct.
Yesterday when we were remembering our fallen heroes, our veterans, we were thinking about the flag, and even though there are things that happen that we don't agree with or we don't like in our country and the world, we're still proud to be Americans. And I try to fly a flag every day. I know we have one at our office at South Jackson, and that's kind of the identifying place. I can say, come to where the flag is,
correct.
And you'll be at our door. And I think it's wonderful to see people flying the flags, and our parents certainly did, and we want to pass that on to the next generations to be proud of who they are, from where we come, and to fly the flag proudly. And a lot of people, I think, are not aware of how they need to fly the flag, and I think having one of your pieces will be a great start with them to show patriotism. I really do. So tell me, do you have a favorite design you like to do when you make these flags?
This is one of my favorites. It's just we call it the All-American. It's your classic look. It's very bright. The color really pops out. And this is our flag right now. So this is one of my favorite pieces.
That's right. My dad flew a 48-star flag for the longest in our front yard, and it's not because he was not acknowledging Alaska and Hawaii, but it's just what he had. And so we would always talk about Alaska and Hawaii when we put our flag out. Yes. Well, tell me this, do you see your business growing and developing into even a storefront?
I hope so. We are going slow. We do not want to get in over our heads and fail. So right now it is growing. We do hope to get a storefront and continue doing this, because it's like I said, it's a worthy cause. We are doing donations for Canines for Warriors, but also I think it really helps the community to actually see this.
But tell me about Canines for Warriors.
Canines for Warriors is a non-for-profit organization down in Florida, and what they do is they rescue dogs, and they pair them with soldiers with PTSD or brain trauma from the war. So fitting with Yellow Dog Flag Company, this is a really good organization that we've paired with to donate for.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Tell me quickly about Yellow Dog.
Yellow Dog is, we were looking for a name, something simple, something basic, something easy to remember, something that kind of stood out. And I've always been a Labrador person, so we just acquired our other lab back in August. Of course, she's a yellow lab, so it's kind of named after her.
Oh, I think that is so cool. Now, if somebody wants to contact you, are you available on the web?
We are. We're on Facebook at Yellow Dog Flags, and also on the internet at yellowdogflags.com.
Oh, that's just great. Well, we invite everyone to come out to South Jackson to see hands-on one of Jason's beautiful pieces. Also, we want you to come and enjoy 1776. If you have not purchased your ticket, call us today at 931-455-5321 or go to www.southjackson.org. Again, we're grateful for all of our wonderful donations from local artisans and businesses to our sponsors for supporting South Jackson and 1776, the musical. Hope to see you all as we share our patriotic spirit this weekend. Thank you. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the paint. Uh-oh. I just knocked a tree over. This is the paint doctor. I got the color wheel. Now, you know what a color wheel is? It is the wheel at the paint works where you pick all your colors to paint your room. It could be a multicolored beard. It could be a underarm fan. You never can tell. One thing we do know is that it's time to paint. You know, you can make your wife very happy if you go to your house and paint some rooms, or you paint the outside of the house, the inside of the house. It makes them feel very good because you work hard for them and they like that. All women like to see their man sweat. You know, they do. Honeydew is what they do. And you get to do it too. So you go to the paint works at 1960 North Washington Street and you see David Ikonen over there, and he's the real paint doctor. He fix you up with color. It's so nice when the color is right. Go to Paintworks today. Martin Senor. See? Martin Senor. Right there. Martin Senor at the Paintworks. Bye, and we see you next time. I'm burning up.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Cool off this summer at Tullahoma's Splash Island. Fun for all ages. 3 25-foot slides, lazy river, fun water features for toddlers, tasty food items are available. All this and more, only $5 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Sundays, 1 to 5. Join the fun at Tullahoma's Splash Island.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Rickman.
And this is Pat Welch. And John, we're here today for segment 51.
We passed that milestone last time.
Right.
And we're at 51 today.
And we made reference that management might listen to an idea of a conversation with John Pat marathon. And we've been informed that that's probably going to be a possibility when we get a little bit more free time for production and management to work it out. But
my feeling is it'll be somewhere where there's a lull. You know, there's not much going on, and they have to have a fill-in.
Well, there's nothing like having a lull that you can fill in with something spectacular.
Tennessee Ernie Ford did a song years ago, 16 tons. I've known it for a long time. Let's don't keep it in.
Let it rip.
Well, some people say a man is made out of mud. A poor man's made out of muscle and blood. Muscle and blood, skin and bones, a mind that's weak and a back that's strong. 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and a in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. I was born one morning when the sun didn't shine. I picked up my shovel and I walked to the mine. I loaded 16 tons of number 9 coal, and the straw boss said, well, bless my soul, 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and a deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. If you see me coming, better step aside. A lot of men didn't and a lot of men died. I got one fist of iron, the other of steel. If the right don't get you, then the left will. 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and a deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. I owe my soul to the company store.
Wow.
You know, I dedicate that song to Charles Maddle. And you remember Tom Kaywood, who lived in Tullahoma until recently? They were both from up in Kentucky and came from that coal mining country.
Well, I didn't know Charles and Tom were from the same area.
He did. And you know, the mining company had shops in which you did your buying at the shops in the camp. And there's some sort of subscription money, maybe I'm saying that wrong, but some sort of money that they use where you could purchase things in the stores, their commissaries or whatever it might be.
Yeah, it's obvious, John, that you never have had a great affinity for personal debt, because that sounded awful soulful there when you talked about.
I think Kilgore, Merle Kilgore, wrote that song, and he wrote "Deep in the Mine, Dark as a Dungeon, Down Deep in the Mine." He knew about coal country.
That was neat.
Yes, sir. It has nothing to do with the subject we're going to talk about, I'm sure.
No, not a whole lot. I'm having a hard time coming up with a segue, but when we first got started here, we really had emphasis on local history, and we're going to go back to that theme today, John, because we're going to talk a little bit about Clayton Shoe Store, which is one of the oldest businesses in Tullahoma, and it got started in 1900. I'm not sure exactly when Couch's got started, but it wouldn't be too long after that. And the Builder Supply started in 1916. And I'm not sure how many more could compete with those three, but Clayton's has got a great history. And Florence Ratcliffe Hull has remodeled, the present owner, has remodeled it not too long ago. And really, when she came back, she really wanted to showcase some of the history that was involved in it. And she's got pictures of all the owners. And so, Philip, if you'll put number 1 up there, that is James Clayton Sr., and he immigrated into the U.S. from Newcastle, England, and he first went to Chattanooga. He was a cobbler, and he went to Chattanooga trying to engage in that practice there, and was encouraged, I would assume, by cobblers that were already there that didn't want much of a competitor. They told him that there was a need for a cobbler in Tullahoma.
That's what I used to tell real estate people.
Right. So he moved to Tullahoma in 1882 and set up a cobbler's business, and set up number 2 there, Philip. She's also got a display of some of the early cobbler tools that I imagine that James Clayton Sr. had. James Clayton Sr.'s son was James, and to separate himself, he didn't go by Junior, he went by Zippy. And Zippy Clayton started Clayton's, the shoe store, in 1900. He had a daughter, Pauline Clayton Ratcliffe, who was Robert Ratcliffe's, who we'll get to him and his mother. And she never actually owned, or she owned the store, but she never actually worked there. But Clayton Hart was her cousin, which had been Zippy's nephew, and he worked there for a long time. And most people, old-timers in Tullahoma, will recognize Mr. Hart. He was a great employee and a great citizen of Tullahoma. His wife, Margaret, was the bookkeeper for 2 or 3 decades minimum at the Builder Supply. They were a great couple. And the next then would have been Robert Ratcliffe, who was Pauline's son. He came back.
I get a smile on my face when I see him.
And Robert was such a great person in Tullahoma, and we've had several stories about him, primarily on his stewardship of golf balls
and good finances.
Yeah, that's correct. He would have given you a soulful rendition of that working for the company store too. Especially when it came to indebtedness to the company store.
He would tape up his own tees, wouldn't he, when he'd break a tee at the tee box?
He had 2 bags in his golf cart, one of completely good-shaped tees and one of chipped that would still hold the ball up. But he was a character, but he was a great man. And then following Clayton, and there's Robert's, not many people knew much about this, but Robert served in World War II, and like soldiers that really saw a lot of combat in World War II, he didn't like to talk about it. But he went all the way up through starting, I believe, at Sicily. After we get good control of North Africa, then we invaded Sicily and Italy and started working up. And Robert saw plenty of combat there, and it wasn't until almost just previous to his death that he was able to even talk about it. And that brings us to his daughter, Florence, who became the owner in 1978 and is presently owns it. And I would encourage anybody that likes local history to stop in over there and see it, because she's got pictures of way back in, I believe, maybe the 30s of the shop, and she's remodeled it to try to have the same layout and so forth as they had then. It's really interesting.
Apologize that whoever took that picture had the top of your head chopped off.
Yeah, that's right. That Florence, before you go out seeking that man, it may have been me. Oh, me.
Oh, me. It's the Harton, the Ratcliffe and Florence and that group. Right. That group of people you mentioned.
Right.
Fabulous people. That's what made America great.
That's right. Robert's mother, Pauline Clayton Ratcliffe, she actually lived in her husband, Mr. Ratcliffe, they lived in Selma, Alabama. And when Robert been in high school, which had been the mid-30s, I believe, they felt like our school system here was better than theirs, and they sent him to live with his uncle.
Still is.
And it's right. That's exactly right. And that was the house next door to the Hartons. So when Robert married Alice Harton, that was a marriage that came from 2 neighbors.
Well,
yeah.
Hey, we're getting a signal.
Getting a signal that it's over. Well,
but it's been so much fun.
That's right. Back to local history. Segment 51 is in the books, and we hope to soon be back for segment 52, John.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, everybody, and thank management for this possibility of the marathon taking place.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat, with John and Pat, with John and Pat.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Hi, I'm Cindy.
And I'm Jacob. I'm the Rooster.
And I'm the Red Mane. And we would like to welcome you to
Roosterwear.
Yes, Roosterwear is a cottage industry producing accessories for men, women, children, babies, and pets. All items are hand cut and sewn locally. Roosterwear specializes in bow ties, pocket squares, scarves, cufflinks, neckties, and aprons of all sizes for all ages. Baby products include onesies, diaper covers, bibs, and burp pads. All bow ties, tie it yourself or pre-tied, come with an adjustable neckband. All products can be made with the material of your choice, as special orders are available upon request. Don't be standing back looking at fashion. Create your own with Rooster Wear.
Come visit us at
roosterandredmaiden.com.
to find our handcrafted designs for
The Cock of the Walk.
This is an American Red Cross blood donation alert. The Red Cross is experiencing a severe winter blood shortage. There is an emergency need for blood and platelet donors to give now and help save hospital patient lives. Donations are critically needed so that patients can continue to receive the life-saving treatments they need. Resolve to make a difference and help save lives by giving blood or platelets now. Use the Blood Donor app, visit redcrossblood.org, or call 1-800-RED-CROSS to make an appointment.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back. I'm on the set today with one of Estill Springs' finest, Dwight Cox. Welcome.
Thank you.
Dwight is here in connection with Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and I know you got a big camp coming up.
Yes, two
so
actually.
let's have you just spout off about that.
Okay, the first one we're going to talk about is, we call it Competitors Camp. It's kind of a leadership camp, and it's more individualized. FCA kind of does two different kinds of camps. One for just individual kids that come, and then we have team camps. So an entire team, like a football team, I'm going to work at a camp at Tennessee Tech. It's an FCA camp, and coaches bring their entire teams.
And you work with them. And what sort of things do y'all do?
At that camp, they do a lot of 7-on-7, so they're working on their passing game.
Yeah.
And then the linemen, they go separate to a whole different field, and they do a lot of lineman drills. But the camp that I'm trying to take kids to in June is Competitors Camp. So you don't have to be on a team. It could just be any individual
And is there an
kid.
age group that you work
Yes, middle
with?
school and high school.
Middle school and high school.
So upcoming 6th graders, and then graduating seniors.
And
it's in that range.
Is it just girls and boys, or is it just, is it both?
Yes, it's both.
It's both. So it's not,
yeah, both
everybody
can
can go.
Yeah, once
and how do they sign up? How do they get involved?
Contact me. My number is 931. Well, it's on the screen.
There we go.
434-6692. They're on top of it.
And so, if you don't remember anything we said today, call that number, because it sounds like a wonderful opportunity.
Yes, it's a lot of fun.
And how many can you take?
So far, the registration is still open.
Yeah.
At that camp, it's pretty large. It's at Johnson University in Knoxville, and there will be roughly 400 high school students.
That's great.
And 300 or more middle school students.
And what do you feel like is the main outcome of them getting together?
Oh man, there's a lot of things. They build a lot of new friendships, for
right?
one.
That's always good.
They learn how to lead, and specifically, they learn how to lead their FCA huddles when they come back to their schools. One thing we're really trying to push towards, Tullahoma Huddle does a great job of this. Franklin County North, some of those schools do a great job of this. But instead of having the adults, when we meet once a week in the mornings at schools, instead of having the adults doing all the talking and all the leading, we're trying to train the teenagers to do the leading.
I think that's a good
very
point,
good.
because often you will take from one of your peers what you won't even hear.
That's right.
From an adult.
Yeah. And on top of that, I mean, of course, it's Fellowship of Christian Athletes, so we're preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. So that's the main focus. And then, of course, leadership is a part of that.
And I would think sensitivity and compassion for your fellow man, and understanding, and all those
character
things.
traits of a Christian, love, like I said, compassion, respect, all those things.
And a good leader has to fill those qualities,
That's right.
I think.
And a good leader, in our opinion, and the way we believe, is we have to serve.
Yeah.
You have to be a servant leader, and that's what we try to teach. Lead by example.
And I'm glad to hear that, because I get to worrying sometimes that we don't have the same sort of commitment from this generation as maybe my generation and generations before that. But I do think there's some great leaders in our young people,
There are.
and we need to spend more time putting them on the front page of the newspaper and giving them accolades for what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've been working with FCA for just over a year now, and I've been pleasantly surprised to see some of these young people, even middle school kids that are 7th and 8th graders, standing in front. I mean, can you imagine? You know, I'm 7th or 8th grade.
Yeah.
I'm standing in front of 30 of my peers, speaking
I think
and
that's
leading
awesome.
and teaching Bible lessons and things. I mean, I couldn't do that at that age. So
But-
it's pretty neat they're doing it.
Well, it's pretty neat that you're teaching it
we're
or
trying.
pushing, yeah,
Yeah.
because you have to be a leader, a good leader, to produce good leaders. And then I think one of the things sometimes people forget when they're teaching leadership or when they're trying to be a leader, sometimes you got to let the people that you're leading handle what
That's right.
the job is. Might not be what you
That's
really
hard, too,
wanted
for some people.
and that's very hard but if you're going to get people to work for you sometime, don't you think that's
You have to
true?
empower them,
You have to
equip them,
empower
and then let them
and
go.
let them
Let
do
them do
it.
the
And
thing.
sometimes they'll make a mistake.
They will, because we do.
Because we do, exactly.
Absolutely.
I mean, the life of people that are successful have made many
Make lots of
mistakes.
mistakes.
They're not afraid of
If
mistakes.
you're not making mistakes, you're not making
Yeah.
much.
And now, you're having those two camps, and
We have
did
another
get-
local camp.
Did we
as
get
well.
the dates on that?
No, that's June the 26th through the 29th. That's
26th
the
to the-
competitors
so that's
camp.
pretty close.
It's coming close. So if they want to register, if you know a middle schooler or a high schooler,
and how
they
much
need to
does
contact
that
me.
cost?
Okay, the way it works, it's $250, and that includes the travel there and back, and then it includes the food and everything there. We do have scholarships, so
Okay.
I try to stress this to every school I go to,
Yeah.
parents, kids, whatever. We never want a kid to miss out because of money. So part of my job as the FCA director
try
is
to
to
find
raise
the
money.
money. Yeah.
And there are people in the community, when you start talking about camp, they're like, if you need a kid,
You know,
if you
we
need a kid to go, I'll
we
give you the
have
money. So
I think a very giving community,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
I want to give them accolades
Yes.
because that's what it takes. And a lot of times you don't even have a child, but you can help a child,
yeah.
and that makes you feel ownership in a child.
Yeah, there's so many
Yeah.
people. Again, to the audience, if you're sitting there and you're like, I'd like for my child to go, but don't really have that money,
Just call.
there are people that want to send
And
those
if they
kids.
just call you, is
That's
that
right.
your number,
That's my
personal
number,
number? And I
Or
guess
email,
can
either
they
one.
text you?
They could.
They could text you, or they could call you, or they could email
Yeah.
you. And I always say to people that are going to call me, please just leave a little tiny message
That's right.
because I get a lot of calls that I don't want to ever answer.
Yeah, if you don't know the number,
and
sometimes
I
you don't
hate
answer.
that. You know, I hate that. But there's some calls that
Yeah.
you don't. But anyway, this is such an important thing, and I think every child that goes will benefit in some way.
It's amazing to
in
watch
probably
what
a
happens.
huge way.
Yeah, it's fun.
We are getting close to probably the end of this session, but give me those dates one more time.
Okay, the camp in the competitors camp is June 26th through the 29th. We're having a local camp in Franklin County, July the 21st through the 24th.
Okay, and we need to talk about that a little bit more
Yes.
because a lot of people
Some don't want to travel to
they
Knoxville.
don't want to travel, but the local one they come
It's
every day.
in Franklin County.
They come every day.
Well, they
right?
stay the night,
Oh,
but,
they do.
but it's just closer.
But it's close,
Yeah.
so they can get home.
Some
and-
kids, believe it or not, don't
Yeah.
want to travel
That's
a
true.
long distance from mom.
However, I personally think it's good for them.
It is good for 'em, I think,
I
but
feel
that's
like
my
it's
opinion.
good for them to get away
It
and,
is.
and learn something outside. Even though they're in a good Christian home
Yeah.
and they're being taught good values, there's so much to be learned in a group activity.
That's right.
Well, Dwight Cox, I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
You're a
Appreciate
nice
it.
young man.
I'll
Thanks for
try.
coming, and good luck with the camp. And people,
Thank you.
please consider contributing or sending a child. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
Tired of paying for monthly telephone service, expensive long-distance bills, and all those crazy taxes? Are you sick of spending money on telephone equipment, maintenance contracts, and service calls, all for a phone system that shackles you to 100-year-old technology and your desk? Stop it. It's time to ship your phone system to the cloud. What can the cloud do for you? Bring together remote offices, workers, and employees in the field. Make sure that you'll never miss calls by delivering them to multiple devices. Modernize faxing by allowing multiple faxes to be sent and received at once and delivered to email. Get your voicemail messages instantly through email too. And take advantage of an endless supply of customizable features. Host My Calls can deliver the cloud. All of this technology with low upfront costs and not one penny in capital expense. It's time for a phone solution you'll truly love from Host My Calls. Call the number below.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Yesterday being Memorial Day, Manchester also had a celebration, and Howard Thompson was the speaker for that. We're going to take you to a little bit of that right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Howard Thompson.
Private First Class, United States Army, World War II, and Medal of Honor recipient, said there are two kinds of people in this world: those that get things done, and those that take credit for getting things done. Along those same lines, we can determine that there are two kinds of people in this world: patriots that remember and honor our heroes who gave their lives for this country, and those that take credit for being patriots. Thank you, patriots, for being here today to honor our fallen heroes. Whenever I get the opportunity to speak to people, I like to try to make two important points. Number one, we're speaking English, not German, not Japanese, not Russian, not Arabic. And we're here because we chose to be here. We had that privilege. Staff Sergeant Dickie Bacon wrote, "Everything America has, its prosperity and riches, its freedoms and liberties, magnificent beauty and natural resources, is all a gift of God and the United States military." Sergeant Bacon received the Medal of Honor for his actions in Vietnam in 1968. Still, we must remember, although all veterans gave some in their service to our country, and some veterans are still giving as they live with permanent disabilities as a result of that service, some veterans gave all. They gave their tomorrows for our todays, and they are our heroes. And this is the day set aside to remember them. We have chosen to assemble on the east side of our county square, facing the monuments that bear 130 names of our heroes from Coffee County who lost their lives in service to this nation. All 130, I believe, are men. Thankfully, there are no Coffee County women on these monuments. Fittingly, we have raised our flag above them. When you read each name on these monuments, understand that they were people. Every one of them was someone's son. Every one of them was someone's friend. Many of them were husbands, fathers, brothers, uncles, or cousins. Know that they were loved by their friends and family, and they were respected by those who served with them. And we must see that they are remembered and honored as heroes by their country and never forgotten. Just like our monuments here in Coffee County, every name on every monument across America represents an individual. And every individual has a story. Every story is different. Let me acquaint you with the story of someone that I went to high school with in McMinnville. Before I do that, I would like to recognize Mary Dawn Bixby. Would you please stand? This is the sister of David Robert Ray, the guy I went to high school with. Everyone called him Bobby. He was tall, very tall. He would reach almost 6'7". But he did not play on our basketball team, as you might imagine. He played trombone in the band for 4 years. He was in the forensic club and the drama club for 4 years. He was a member of the Beta Club, and he attended Boys State. Bobby and 2 classmates collected and wrote material for the junior class play. Bobby was a tenor in a singing group. Bobby Ray had 2 close friends, Tommy Vickers, who would later play an important role in Bobby's life, and Ernest Smallman, who, ironically, was noticeably smaller of the 3. He could almost stand under the outstretched arms of Bobby. Basically, they were just good, normal American high school kids. But all 3 of them had a mischievous side. Ernest noticed that in almost every magazine in the early 60s, in the back of it, there were a ton of advertisements. You could send in your name and address and receive in return mail all sorts of things. Information, catalogs, samples, even a test to see if you had artistic ability, or how to become strong like Charles Atlas. Remember that? Ernest had a mission. He wanted it all, and he set to work. A week or so later, across town, the mailbox at Bobby Ray's house began to fill up with junk mail. Sometimes the mailbox was completely full of it, and Bobby's mom wasn't too happy to have to sort through a pile of mail just to find the water bill. One day, Bobby, Ernest, and Tommy decided to play a prank on another student. They brought bricks to school and filled Kenneth Van Hooser's locker with them. Of course, they got caught. We had a great principal. He made them divide up the bricks and carry them everywhere they went for a week. Books in one hand, bricks in the other. Even though Bobby was smart, active, and popular, I do not think anybody in our high school would think this normal American boy would someday perform an extraordinary act of courage and receive the highest award this nation can bestow upon an individual, the Medal of Honor. But he did. Bobby received a scholarship and attended the University of Tennessee. He also received an associate degree of arts from Cumberland University in Lebanon. But early in 1966, Bobby Ray and Tommy Vickers decided they were interested in a career in medicine. Bobby wanted to become a doctor. On March the 28th, 1966, he enlisted in the Navy to become a hospital corpsman. After extensive training and service on board a hospital ship and in a hospital in California, Bobby reached the first step of his goal. But in May of 1968, Bob, as his friends now called him, requested a tour of duty in the Fleet Marine Force. It took raw courage and patriotism for anyone to volunteer for a job that would almost guarantee a tour in Vietnam. But Bobby did. The date is significant because it was just after the largest battle in the Vietnam War, the Tet Offensive. A biased national press somehow turned a complete United States military victory into a defeat. Protesters were marching up and down America's streets, shouting, "Hell no, I won't go," and "Hey, LBJ, how many kids did you kill today?" Anti-war dialogue from the likes of Jane Fonda was on the news almost every night. In 1968, veterans returning from Vietnam could not even attend their local VFW or American Legion post in many cities. Bobby had to be aware of this, but he still volunteered. After more intensive training, Bob became a Fleet Marine Force hospital corpsman. On the 12th of July, he was sent to and arrived in South Vietnam. Bob Ray was assigned as senior corpsman to a Marine artillery battery at Firebase Phu Loc 6 on a hill adjacent to Liberty Bridge. It was near An Hoa in Quang Nam Province. Bob soon won the respect of the Marines, who now called him Doc Ray. Those that he cared for at Phu Loc 6 who needed further medical treatment would be sent to Da Nang, only 18 miles to the northeast. And as a twist of fate, Tommy Vickers was there working as an operating room technician. During the early morning hours of 19 March 1969, Doc Ray's position at Phu Loc 6 and a nearby Marine command post was attacked by an estimated battalion-sized enemy force. The attack began with a barrage of rocket and mortar fire, and as the barrage lifted, enemy troops advanced, supported by a hail of small arms fire. If only half of the attacking force was firing AK-47s, there would be more than 3,000 bullets coming into the battery every 2 seconds. They succeeded in penetrating the barbed wire perimeter, causing numerous casualties. United States forces were taught conceal and cover when under small arms fire. Doc Ray abandoned both. Undaunted by the intense hostile fire, he moved from parapet to parapet, rendering medical aid. Although wounded, he refused aid from another corpsman and continued his life-saving efforts. While attending to another casualty, he was attacked by 2 enemy soldiers. He killed one and wounded the other. He was rapidly losing strength with his own severe wounds. But despite still intense enemy fire, he continued to move among the wounded, giving life-saving aid. We do not know how many he treated, but we do know that his efforts resulted in the saving of at least 7 Marines' lives. He held off the enemy until he ran out of ammunition, at which time he was shot again. His final act of heroism was to protect the Marine he was treating with his own body, saving his life as an enemy grenade landed and exploded nearby. Doc Ray did not survive the blast or his wounds. For conspicuous gallantry, at the risk of his life, above and beyond the call of duty, he would be awarded the Medal of Honor. Bobby Ray was 24 years old. Casualties from the battle at Fulak 6 near Anwar began to arrive at the hospital in Da Nang where Tommy Vickers was on call. Tommy's shift ended at 2:30 a.m., but at 6:30 choppers from Anwar came in with more wounded. He was called back to work. From the wounded Marines whom Bob had patched up, Tommy learned that Bob had been hit, but continued to give aid and was hit again. No one knew anymore. The first thing he did was to go to triage and look for his friend. When he could not find him, he started to ask around. He found this little Marine that told him how Doc Ray had fixed up his arm and how he started to cry as he told Tommy gooks were all over them, plus rockets and mortars as thick as flies. In the letter, Tommy wrote home, and this kid told me what happened. I couldn't work. All I could do was sit and stare. Most likely everyone here today had a member of their family, or at least a friend, who lost their life as a result of their service to our country. But when someone that we love is suddenly or unexpectedly taken from us, our world stops. It will start again, but it will never be the same. Plans that we had for the remainder of the day or night, no matter how important, are now canceled. Things that seemed absolutely necessary for the moment are trivial. It almost seems like the distractions of every day when we see things in true perspective and we realize, sometimes too late, that one of the most precious things of all is gone forever. Like Bobby Ray, those that we honor today have given their last full measure. They have done all that they can do. It is our duty. It is our obligation. It is our great privilege to do all that we can do to see that their country will never forget them. Thank you for coming here today to honor them. May God bless you, and may God bless the USA.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department. Need you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing, or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, we're back, Peggy.
We're back, yeah. And
all is well.
All is well. I'm telling you.
We want to, again, we'll thank our veterans and all of our first responders for the work you do, protecting us and keeping us safe here in the greatest country in the world. Thank you very much for your service, all of you. And speaking of service, how's your general doing? My friend Bart Burton.
Your friend Bart Burton is fine.
Doing well? Family's doing well? What about that grandson?
He's
We're going to talk about Mom and them for a little bit.
He's graduating high school this year and will be off to college.
Aren't you proud of him? Where's he going to school, Peggy?
Well, I wish I could tell you the name of the school. It's a fairly small school in New Jersey.
Good.
And he loves music, believe it or not. And he writes music.
Wonderful.
So I think he's going to study some music.
That'd be great. And carry on the Peggy Peggy talent.
His grandfather from California was a musician also, and so
he's got it in his blood there, doesn't he?
My favorite story, and he wrote this in his resume to get into college. He got accepted to 3 or 4, but anyway, I don't know why he chose the one he did. I guess it offered what he wanted.
Right.
But one of the reasons for loving music was the year he came and stayed 6 weeks at my house, and all the soccer teams they'd already had all the auditions or tryouts for soccer
for all the camps
sports
in the summer.
So we were trying to find something for him to do, so Kathy and I decided he should take dance. So we paid him to go to dance classes. I'm not doing no dance.
You paid him to go.
So we paid him to go.
He took your money to go, huh?
Yeah, he took our money to go, and he was in the gala that year, and little old bitty boy, and had a great time.
Good. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
He's a trumpet player and seems to be a happy young man.
Well, that's great. Hey, what about now your band, the South Jackson Street Band? It's got something coming up, don't they? Aren't they playing somewhere here pretty soon?
I believe it's the 15th of June. They're going to play outside the high school over there on the right out in the area close to the park.
Right.
And I'll be away. I'll be at Austin's graduation, but they're going to play, and hopefully dancers will come and listeners will come. And
yeah. Well, that'd be fun.
Bring your things and bring your blanket, hang out.
Listen to some big band music.
Well,
and we also have going on at South Jackson Packed Camp.
Packed Camp, Performing Arts for Children and Teens.
Is coming up.
They're doing Lion,
The Witch in the Wardrobe,
which is a wonderful production.
Yeah. Love C.S. Lewis.
And
but the camp is coming up in a couple of weeks. You can call Fran at South Jackson at 455-5321 because it's a 2-week camp, and it goes from 8 in the morning till noon with a snack. And I think
it's a good deal.
I think it's like what, $40 for 2 weeks?
It's very inexpensive.
Very inexpensive, and the kids learn all about being on stage.
Another thing that I need to mention that I've failed to mention for a while is that we have auditions for South Jackson Goes Country, and I think it's the 11th and 12th of June.
Okay.
It's like the Sunday that Bonnaroo is over at 2 o'clock, and then the Monday night at 6.
Okay.
So get out your fiddle.
Hey, this will be what, the 38th year?
Whatever.
38th year?
I believe. I never thought I'd make it this
38
long.
years of South Jackson Goes Country. So, folks, there's a lot going on around town. It's summertime. Watch out for the kids up and down the street.
Oh, that's right.
You be safe in your boating and swimming excursions. Always wear a life jacket when you're supposed to. And don't drink and drive. Either
Absolutely.
a boat or a car or any of it. But have fun. Enjoy yourself. And we'll see you next time.
We got one more tribute for Memorial Day for all the service members that paid the ultimate sacrifice. This is Go High on the Mountain. This is our dedication to all those service members that did pay the ultimate sacrifice. During this, You will see the presentation of the flag down here, and it will also end with taps. So this is our tribute on this Memorial Day to all of those servicemen.